I did. It was so fun. Oh my God, as a huge Disney fan, it was so exciting to finally get to go to D23.
Yeah.
The rice has to be body temperature, and if it takes too long to serve it, it's no longer body temperature.
Y'all, the drama surrounding Disney's live-action Snow White remake has blown up into one of the most intense controversies Hollywood's seen in years. What started as just another nostalgic retelling has turned into a full-blown cultural battlefield, leaving Disney scrambling to pick up the pieces. And with the release date creeping closer, the stakes have never been higher. The controversy began when Rachel Zegler, cast as Snow White, started giving interviews that lit a firestorm among fans. Instead of leaning into the timeless magic of the original story, Zegler seemed determined to dismiss it as outdated. "It's really not about the love story at all," she revealed, casually hinting that the prince's scenes might not even make the final cut. "All of Andrew's scenes could get cut, who knows? It's Hollywood, baby." Now, this wasn't just some offhand comment. It quickly became the epicenter of a much larger backlash. Fans began to suspect that Disney wasn't just updating the fairy tale, but completely rewriting its heart and soul. But Zegler wasn't done stirring the pot. In interview after interview, she painted a picture of a Snow White that felt like a stranger to the beloved character fans had cherished for decades. "We're not doing the fairy tale that everyone thinks they know," she boldly declared. Instead of reimagining Snow White while respecting its legacy, Zegler's words came off as dismissive, even antagonistic to the story's roots. Fans noticed, and let me tell you, the backlash wasn't just loud, it was deafening. But just when you thought things couldn't possibly get worse, what's the song you might hear when you start to dance?
She's my best friend, and she's the one who sent me the casting notice and said, "Thank me when you're famous." It's the craziest thing ever that it came true in that weird way, and that's why I bring her everywhere, and she's the best ever. But yeah, I put myself on tape. It's the worst tape you've ever seen in your life. I have no idea how I got the part still. And it's being used to teach future casting directors at NYU.
South Park entered the chat and did so in true South Park fashion. The show dove headfirst into the Snow White controversy with an episode titled "Into the Pan," flipping the conversation on its head. But this wasn't just playful jabs. South Park went all in, mercilessly skewering Disney's approach to reimagining classics to fit modern narratives. Razor-sharp parodies of Disney's casting and storytelling decisions, the episode hilariously captured the exact frustrations fans had been voicing for months. Behind the laughter, though, was a biting critique that hit Disney where it hurt. Sources from inside Disney revealed that the episode sparked a full-blown crisis, with emergency meetings called to manage the growing fallout. But let's be real, it wasn't just South Park stirring the pot. Fans were already fuming over leaked production details from the live-action Snow White. The changes were sweeping. The seven dwarves reimagined as magical creatures from diverse backgrounds, the prince possibly written out altogether, and the love story, the heart of the original, completely erased. "This wasn't just a modernization, it was a total overhaul," said one veteran producer, summing up what fans had been feeling all along. When it comes to a property as iconic as Snow White, there's a delicate balance between updating it for today's audience and preserving what made it timeless. Fans on social media were quick to point out that Disney had crossed the line. To make matters worse, Rachel Zegler's past interviews resurfaced, still claiming that Disney was still compatible with rape violence, says Zegler. Rachel Zegler's past interviews resurfaced, becoming a treasure trove of PR disasters. Viral compilations began circulating, highlighting moments where Zegler came across as dismissive, sometimes even mocking, the core elements that made the original story so beloved. Senator Zegler created this story and told it,
the board was making a decision to make a change at the CEO level at Disney, and that they might ask me to step back.
And you say to her?
And I said to Willow, "I'm getting this call. It's possible that I could get asked."
The backlash wasn't confined to social media. Industry insiders began voicing their concerns about Disney's direction. Many argued that the studio's relentless focus on modern messaging was eclipsing the magic that made its classics timeless. Comparisons soon flooded the internet. Videos juxtaposing Rachel Zegler's controversial comments with those of other actresses who'd taken on iconic roles painted a stark contrast. For instance, Emma Watson, who portrayed Belle in Beauty and the Beast, had successfully championed modernization while still respecting the essence of the original story. In stark contrast, Zegler's remarks seem to alienate the very audience Disney hoped to win over. "It's not about who plays Snow White," one viral tweet read. "It's about whether this even feels like Snow White anymore." Meanwhile, the South Park episode proved to be much more than a one-off jab. Creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone expanded their critique to Hollywood's broader approach to representation and storytelling. They didn't just mock the surface-level changes, they dissected how these choices often came across as shallow box-ticking exercises rather than genuine attempts to craft compelling narratives. The episode resonated deeply, sparking widespread debates about tokenism and the future of reimagined classics. It became an instant classic, adding fuel to the already raging fire of controversy surrounding Snow White. Disney, reportedly shaken by the sharp critique, even tried to open a dialogue with South Park's network to mitigate further fallout. But by then, the damage was done. Leaked production details revealed just how far Disney had strayed from the original Snow White.
She was like, "Jacqueline, if they play Getaway Car or Maroon, she's on crisis watch." Not only did she play Getaway Car, she also played Maroon. I was having a mental breakdown in the audience at MetLife Stadium.
With insiders now questioning whether the film could even be called Snow White, it was clear these weren't minor adjustments. They were seismic shifts. Traditional elements like the dwarves and the prince weren't just modernized, they were being completely stripped away, replaced with concepts critics argued felt disconnected from the heart of the story. Author writes, "One Direction, dear producers, I've got the time and manpower to meet with the director. I would love to recreate the paradise part in our conversation, but rejection is overwhelming. There's no way we can turn this down." Rachel Zegler only fueled the fire in yet another interview, doubling down on her earlier remarks by insisting that the original story was outdated and needed a complete reinvention. Fans weren't buying it, and neither were Hollywood veterans. There's a fine line between updating a story for modern audiences and dismantling everything that made it resonate in the first place, one seasoned filmmaker remarked. The controversy didn't stop with Snow White, it set off a ripple effect that called Disney's entire live-action remake strategy into question. Focus groups revealed a growing fatigue among audiences when it came to the studio's dramatic overhauls of beloved classics. Earlier remakes like The Jungle Book and Beauty and the Beast had succeeded by carefully balancing fresh updates with a sense of nostalgia. But more recent efforts had begun to falter. Behind closed doors, Disney reportedly scrambled to adjust course. Scripts for upcoming projects were being rewritten, and some productions were even put on hold entirely as executives tried to gauge what audiences actually wanted. The stakes were higher than ever. Analysts noted that Disney's stock price had grown increasingly sensitive to the fallout from their creative decisions. This wasn't just about Snow White anymore. It was a moment of reckoning for the studio's entire approach to reimagining its legacy.
Not designed right now to necessarily develop great leaders or to encourage more people to seek public office. It just is far more difficult. Now, I've never been in it, but from what I observe, it's far more difficult to run for office today than ever before.
The white drag.
I love that description. It's perfect. Oh my God. Well, when you get to wear Sandy Powell, first of all, insane. And then you get to be lit by Mandy Moore.
This controversy was forcing Disney to reevaluate its entire business strategy. Meanwhile, South Park's episode continued to gain momentum, striking a chord with fans who felt their frustrations had finally been validated. By turning their sharp satirical lens on Disney, the show underscored just how far the entertainment industry had drifted from the storytelling magic that had once made it a global powerhouse. As the release date for Snow White inches closer, one thing is clear. This is no longer just a Hollywood scandal. It's a pivotal moment for the entertainment industry at large. The era of simple remakes is over. Moving forward, studios will have to strike a delicate balance between honoring tradition and embracing innovation, or risk alienating the very audiences they seek to captivate. But what about you? Are the changes to Snow White bold and necessary, or has Disney crossed the line? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into Hollywood's most explosive dramas. 1.